A streak of blue. Edward gave a splendid effort building the Northwestern Railway, but he eventually wasn't suited for the fast mainline services. As such, the Fat Controller purchased Henry. Although he was a good sort, he was prone to steaming troubles, which caused endless frustration. Due to a lack of funds, engines were loaned from other railways. One of these, named Marcia, fancied herself the savior of the line and never failed to make it known. "For it's no longer," she declared, dragging Henry and his train into Knapford, "for I have restored order to our timetable once more." "Does she ever get tired of all that hot air in her boiler?" Thomas remarked to Edward. "I'll say, you little one." The big engine beckoned to Thomas. "Be a good lackey, take my coaches and the indisposed away. I must rest my aching wheels." "Evidently not." As Thomas buffered up, Henry couldn't even meet his gaze. "I'm sorry," he sighed. "She should be sorry," retorted Thomas. "One day she'll get hers." That night, Thomas retired to the shed. A vulgar discourse greeted him. "You know," Marcia said loudly to James, "I do sympathize with the Fat Controller. Wasted what little hard-earned money he had on a mite, an antique, and an invalid." She looked across to Henry. Workmen were trying to fix him. "Well, I'm the real bargain. The strength of 3 for the coal and water consumption of 1. Only a matter of time before he purchases me." "The Fat Controller," Edward interjected, "favors engines with good character. You leave much to be desired in that department." "And where has good character led you, old man?" replied Marcia rudely. "Certainly not the main line. Strength and speed are all that matters there. When I pull coaches, you merely see a streak of blue. Engines like you fade into the background. I like to see you do any work without falling to pieces." She turned back to James. "Now, a more pressing matter. When I am purchased, what do you suppose my proper express title should be? I fancy something regal. The Rugby Express has a certain charm to it, no?" Thomas was about to retort, but Edward gave him a look. "Save your steam," he muttered. "It's no use arguing with her." They stared at the lone engine with contempt. The next morning, Marcia awoke to a startling sight. There was Henry, hissing and wheezing halfway on the turntable. "What the devil is this?" "Oh dear," Henry coughed feebly. "I thought the men had made me better." "Well, get better and out of my way this instant. My admiring passengers are waiting. I demand extrication at once." But the other engines had all left for work. They couldn't have helped anyhow. There was no way onto the turntable. "Worse and worse," the Fat Controller scowled as he paced the platform. "These passengers cannot be kept waiting. I'm sorry, Edward. As the others have gone, you'll have to take the coaches." Edward looked at the long train. "Beg your pardon, sir, but this is a bit beyond my capabilities." "Not if I helped you," bubbled Thomas. "2 engines are better than 1, sir. Besides, the others can manage their own shunting for a while." The Fat Controller considered. "Very well," he said at last. "Off you go. Do your best, but take care." The engines backed excitedly onto the train. The passengers marveled at the strange combination, but were thankful to have any train at all. Finally, the guard's whistle blew. Come on, called Thomas. "Oh, steady now, advised Edward. Soon they were on the main line and having a wonderful time. Thomas was so excited to leave the yards, he nearly pulled Edward's coupling off. Edward chuckled. He was glad to stretch his wheels again. The 2 engines worked so well, the coaches felt as light as air. Other engines were shocked as they raced past, whistling with glee. Later that day, they returned to Knapford, exhausted but triumphant. Henry and Marcia stood at the platform. Well, smiled Henry. Our streak of blue has returned, and in one piece no less." Marcia scowled as the happy passengers swarmed out of the coaches. "What splendid engines you are! Your director must be very proud of you." He's very happy with his purchase indeed, chuckled Thomas. Oh, ha, ha, fumed Marcia as he puffed away. You were only allowed out of the yard because clanky old Gleason couldn't manage alone. Enjoy your brief moments in the limelight, boys. It's already fading. If I didn't know better, smirked Thomas, I'd say she didn't like shunting her own train. He chortled off to the water column, but Edward stayed behind. Are you all right, Henry? What on earth happened this morning? Oh, the usual steaming troubles. You know how it is. Miraculously, he winked, the problem seemed to vanish after you've gone. You didn't, Edward gasped. Now, Edward, Henry grinned, do you really think I'd do such a thing? Given past experiences with a tunnel, Edward thought it wise not to say anything.